Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to another episode.
We
Hunka Hunka.
Back.
Guess who's back? Back again. You know they tried to keep us away.
We were locked in a basement for 2 months. 2 months.
That's why people have been like, I heard. Oh, I'm Michael Snell second, by the way.
I am Jacob Philippine.
Welcome, Jacob. It's great to have you back here for Hunka Hunka.
But
But lots of people have said that's why we were away because Endgame's so successful. No. The geeks locked us in abatement. They didn't do it. But they paid someone named Rico.
Abatement, yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman?
Yeah.
Inside of a gigantic Jason Bateman.
There's this man named Rico, and he just took us, and he held us hostage. Yeah. I haven't been able to manage Kirkland on the Gauntlet.
No.
I haven't been able to do any of it.
No.
And yeah, the only thing is why Endgame's been so successful is because we've been locked in a basement. We can't stop all the bots. They've been buying bots to beat Avatar, so it's all fake money. It's all just Feige's money. He's putting it back in
the
his
fans.
own movie.
I know you guys have been waiting for us because you love us more than the Geekverse, and we've been trying to get back here every single day. We actually ended up knocking the wall down by just punching it many times. We punched it probably 20,000 times, and we eventually got through the wall.
At least
of the Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman. I don't know where this facility was. We were blinded because every day they would just spray us with blind spray.
Yeah.
But
mace, other things, Febreze, all sorts of things.
Water. But that's why we're here for the fans. We tried to get out, but yeah, we're better than everything. Geek First, they didn't invite us to the 4-year.
No, we snuck in through the window to use their new equipment.
Oh, yeah.
So now you can hear our voices even better than ever.
Screw my brother. He's going to lose to Kirkland. He's a bad man. He's a bad father. He's a bad competitor. He's just bad at everything. Bad podcaster, you know.
And these are actually all facts.
All facts,
if you didn't know, like, these are facts.
You look in the Bible, and if you look up bad father, it's just a picture of Travis Snell.
I look through the Bible pretty often.
Yeah.
I chug through a chapter a night.
Yeah.
And usually 3 every morning. So.
And also, when you look up the Lord, it's just a picture of Zack Snyder. So
it's
pretty good.
Yeah.
Hashtag
holding his Snyder cut in his hand.
Hashtag release the Snyder cut.
Hashtag
we need it. That's going to be the biggest
There
movie
is
of the
nothing
year.
more important than releasing the Snyder cut.
So nothing. Even our lives. If someone said,
I would sacrifice myself for the fans to have the Snyder cut.
The movie will either be put away and you'll get to live, or we'll kill you and the movie will be released easily. Take me.
Yeah.
Take me. And donate all my body parts to anyone in the Snyder family, you know? So, so screw Geek for screw Raw or not. They even said they gave them another episode. They're easily the worst spin-off show on this channel.
They don't even want to produce content.
Yeah.
We are working our hardest, our darndest to get these episodes out. Every single minute is our goal, right? That's what we talked about before.
Oh, yeah. We've never seen Ruben. I think it's just Taylor, like imaginary friend that he dresses up as Ruben.
Yeah,
and
he puts on a fake little beard.
Yeah, fake hats. People that dress up are just losers, you know?
I agree.
Phonies.
Be yourself is what I always say.
So
I must say, your leather jacket's looking mighty fine.
Oh, it's good. This is what's on the new market. It's called a leather straight jacket. So
yeah,
as
it's
you can
very
see,
much straight jacket like.
Yeah, there's no zipper. It's just that's it. I have to. My assistant.
It doesn't come off, right?
Yeah, no, not until my assistants help me out. They contort me.
Like infused.
It's just like a mental home. Like I have to be put on, and so we're back. We're very excited, and it was very disappointing. We didn't get to go to the 4-year, even though we built this channel with the rest of everybody.
We've been here since day 1, and they don't give us any credit.
Day 0, really.
It was
our idea, the Geekverse.
It's true. It's true.
It was going to be called the DC Verse, and they took it and span it.
We came up with all the marketing. We hired all of those guys thinking that they wouldn't screw us over, but unfortunately, we didn't read the fine print on that contract. So,
but unfortunately, we missed a question from Jeff Layermore. They did a Q&A with their fans. He asked us, which I thought was a very intelligent, great question, Jeff. So thank you for being
one of the best questions.
Our biggest
there was
fan.
A lot of questions in there. I don't think they were really all that good. I think this one was very articulate, you could tell this came from a very smart individual, someone who's been hitting the books, and much like me is hitting the Bible every night and every morning.
Hitting the Bible all the time, thumping people. But yeah, he's clearly our biggest fan. He asked us a great question. How do we deal with the fame? Because we're clearly most popular show on this channel. We're the most popular guys in Canada, so that's a nice thing. You know, and people, there's some haters out there. They kind of throw stuff at us. They say we're crappy. Some people have even accused us of being a parody show. That's not the case. That's just people scared of their own lives because this is real life, and you have to deal with it. But how I'm dealing with things...
People don't understand what parody is anymore.
No.
Yeah.
They are a parody.
Yeah.
Fame's been great. I've been, other than being locked in the Jason Bateman, that was a downside.
You always
of
get
life.
you always get assaulted. You always get
Yeah.
you know, the hit put on you as it were if you're a famous person.
People just
much like
want
us.
to. People just want to be me. You know.
Uh-huh.
One time I woke up and Tyler Briggs from Geek Versus standing over me with a knife, and he said, "Give me your face." I didn't know what that was about, but it's the fame. But other than
Like
that,
what face, right? Like what does
Yeah.
it even mean?
it's been great. I have 5 limos, and not separately. The limos are all attached, so they have to drive. It
right.
costs
Much
us,
like that jacket's attached to your body.
yeah, it costs us loss of gas, but that's what the ad money's for. You know, use it
I
all
love
for
gas.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
the smell of gas. Sometimes I go to the station and just to huff on it
Just
a little bit.
just to guzzle it. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
great, and it really. Like, I don't get a sore throat because the throat's always sore. Some people might say it's bad. No sick days. If you just live like that, it's great. So
I have not had a single sick day in the last 17 years. So
since we've been out, people always ask for autographs. So I've loved it, Jeff. So thanks for asking.
I always describe fame. Fame is like an oyster. Okay, it smells putrid. It looks even worse. You're always in a greasy tin can with 15 other oysters. It goes great with cream cheese, and I just can't get enough.
And gas.
I just can't get enough. I chug oysters every day. You know, you saw when we were in the Jason basement. I should say. I ate nothing but oysters for those entire 2 months.
Marinated with gas.
The gas really helps because that's already what is in those tin cans.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I see fame. You know, there's a lot of downsides, but I just can't get enough. Really, at the end of the day, I just love it so much that there's nothing more I like. Because being praised for how great you are, it's a great feeling.
Especially when we are great. We deserve every moment of
we
it.
worked tirelessly.
Yeah.
Tirelessly. So, you know, one of the reasons we did work tirelessly is I forgot to mention our sponsor for the day. Today's sponsor is Tiny Houses. Okay, so Tiny Houses is a company out of Alabama. This is actually,
tiny people.
as you can see, a life-size diorama of Batman's house. You can see he's got his house there. He's got his Bat cave.
His toilet.
Yeah, his toilet. And let me tell you, the Bat toilet takes some pretty hefty dumps. So it has to be, this thing has full plumbing, as you can see in the back here. This is fully logical plumbing.
That's a huge septic tank.
Water's running through this. My hands are really wet right now, much like Spider Pig. And it's just it's a great. This is I brought this one because obviously DC and Batman, the greatest things of all time. There's nothing better. But they have tiny houses for every occasion. They have a tiny White House. They have a tiny blue house, tiny red house. They have everything.
Tiny Jason Bateman.
Yeah. They actually have one with us, little figurines as well, and that's great because you can see our big muscles and how we just punch through that wall. It's all there.
Yeah.
So check out Tiny Houses.
They got the tiny Saw room from the movie Saw, and they give them with Geekverse figures.
So Saw 5 is my favorite, personally.
And they come with Geekverse figures, so you can just torture them. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like to torture the Kirkland one myself.
Oh yeah, he's always late.
I know he's your player and all, but obviously he doesn't support you as much as you support him.
I love him, but he's always late. You know.
Yeah, you don't love him that much.
It's hard to get a hold of him. But
I get it.
So Comic-Con coming up.
Oh man!
Unfortunately,
just around the bend.
Unfortunately, no DC or Warner Brothers
once
because
again contract issues.
Yeah, Marvel's banning them. Disney owns everything.
Kevin Spitty Feige.
Yeah, Kevin Spitty Feige just destroying fan culture as we know it. So obviously, what's happening is we're going to talk about Marvel. They got a panel coming out on Saturday. I'm sure Geekverse is going to do some biased breakdown.
Oh yeah, they're just going to talk about how great Marvel is.
You hear they're doing a 24-hour stream just for the Marvel Ultimate Alliance game.
That game's going to be shit.
Pathetic losers.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That game doesn't even have Batman.
No. I don't see no Batman Arkham game stream.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're not necessarily going to do a predictions of the Phase 4.
Because we know.
Yeah. And we love all comic books except for the ones we hate. We love them all, and we want every company to get better. So what we've done is he has 3, I myself have 3 of movies that we think Marvel should make to really put them on the same pedestal as DC, which is impossible, but maybe get them up there, you know? Instead of being an F, they can be an F+ with these movies. We got some great ideas. Do you want me to start? Do you want to start? Do you want me to start? You want to start?
Well,
Who do you want to start?
We all know we're very polite, so I think we should share. I think we should do one, and then you do one, and then I do one, and then you do one, and then I do one, and then you do one, and that equals 6.
Perfect. So we're going to talk about, and also in this episode, we're going to review some of the movies that have come out this year.
Oh yeah, so we have a lot going on. It's been a while since we've been around. So.
I'm going to talk about the trashy Spider-Man Far From Home in a little bit because it is. why even try? We've seen the Raimi movies. We've seen the great
More
Spider-Man
like Spider-Man
3.
Far From a great movie.
Oh, snap! John Watts, what'd you do to Spider-Man?
Oh!
Just poor the director just looks in the mirror and he just goes, I'm not Sam Raimi. I'm not Sam Raimi. Because he could never make...
It must hurt to have that feeling.
Yeah, his movies are nowhere near the quality of Spider-Man 3. So,
Spider-Man 3 is probably the best Marvel movie.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. It's so dark, you know?
I love the darkness.
That dance scene, whoa.
Yeah, and I love a good piano player. He is one of the best at the keys.
And you know, Heath Ledger, definitely number 1, but Topher Grace's Venom, probably number 2.
Really good villain.
He's great.
As much as I don't like Marvel stuff, I always give him the shot, right? And they nailed it with that Venom.
Yeah, he nailed it.
That is my Venom.
And I love that Venom song, too. I don't like that new movie, but that Venom, I love
Single
that
bar,
song.
Yeah, so good.
So, I've talked about this before, that I think they should take some dark routes with Peter, maybe get him attached to some drugs and whatnot. I've talked about in the past. So, if you've seen Spider-Man, the newest one, this is a perfect setup for what I'm saying they should do. Spider-Man homeless.
Yes.
And what it's going to be, it's going to be about him. MJ's dumped him. His aunt's given up on him. Everyone knows he's Spider-Man. Everyone thinks he's a criminal. So what's he do? He turns to meth. And he just loves it. He needs it. He's making dudes real happy. He's getting anybody off that'll just give him money. And he's doing all the drugs he can. There's a fight scene with him and Jonah just kicks the shit out of him. And it's just all about him overcoming meth. And what happens? He dies. He dies at the end. Because who's the villain in this movie? Himself.
Wow.
It's just himself. It's getting deep into Peter Parker. He's going to be a mess.
Character versus themselves.
He's going to be a mess. And just like how Jared Leto was a method acting, I want Tom Holland to do that. So he needs to dabble in some drugs. Because he's not a great actor.
If he needs any, just send him our way. We have some extras.
We'll hook him up. So that's what I'm saying. The first new Spider-Man should be Spider-Man homeless and just his dealing with drugs and drug use, because this kitty boppy shit that they're doing with Spider-Man, no one likes it. It's almost going to be the biggest Spider-Man movie of all time. That's a lie. Everyone's lying.
Just like Mysterio, everything is fake.
Yeah, you can't
it's
trust.
All an illusion.
You can't trust Marvel fans. They're bullying 7-year-olds online. You can't trust them at all. They're just lies. They're just lies. So Spider-Man homeless is my first movie that I think they need to do.
That's a great one. I can't wait to see it personally. I think they will do it because we all know that Feige listens to this and he says, these guys are very smart. They're smarter than I'll ever be. I'm going to take their ideas. My idea is we've heard some rumblings of a Thor 4 on the horizon. We talked about Ragnarok when it came out. Pretty bad movie.
Bad movie.
The haircut.
Short hair. Are you kidding me?
The short hair did him in. You can go back and listen to our other episode for that. But what I want to see is we know that there's a great character hidden throughout those Thor movies that hasn't gotten enough chance to shine. And that's Zachary Levi's character. Whatever his fucking name is, no one really knows. But you know what else?
Sword guy.
Yeah, he was in a great movie recently. You know what movie that was? Shazam. You're going to hear us talk about that one in just a bit. One of the greatest movies of all time, I would say. Easily in the top 5.
Gonna win all the Oscars.
So I think Thor 4 should really dip into that multiverse, and they should bring in Shazam as the main character. He can be the main character. He can be the main villain.
Fight himself.
Honestly, let's just put all DC stuff in there, because I just want more DC because I can't get enough. Shazam 2, we all know is coming next year, but let's just double up. Let's have Thor 4. Let's have Shazam 2. Let's just have it all together. That way we don't have to waste our time with another movie like Thor Ragnarok, which was just so weird. It was so colorful and bright and like trying to be funny. Just terrible character development.
Taika and his Kiwi humor.
Yeah, Taika, like what is that guy? Like that guy who's just a bunch of rocks. Like
Taika
I got bored of rock humor like 10 years ago.
More like Taika make me want to walk out of the movie TD.
Good one.
My second movie, I love that, by the way. Zachary Levi is just a doll. He's a gem.
Oh, he's so jacked.
Yeah,
too.
and
I love those muscles.
He talked with us last time about his hatred for the Captain Marvel movies, so it's great. So my pitch is, Marvel, Netflix, those terrible shows have come to an end. I like some of those action in there, but Marvel characters, they're all shit. And spending 13 hours with them, are you kidding me?
It's true.
So now they got a chance to reboot Daredevil. And you know what? I think this is a perfect time to get him in the MCU. We're going to start off when he's becoming a lawyer, and then we're going to end with a huge finale of him becoming a lawyer. You remember that great scene in BVS when Superman's on trial and they're in the court and everyone's talking?
One of the greatest cinematic moments of all time.
Superheroes in courtrooms are the best, and that's where you're asking, who's the villain? What's he going to do? Just like the Spider-Man villain, it's not himself, but it's the law. And not the law, but it's the
right.
law system. It's studying. Matt Murdock doesn't want to study. It's tough for him. He has to use that whatever blind stuff. It's very tough. So that's going to be the whole thing. It's going to be, I think this could be a real prestige piece for them. And, will we see the costume? Nuh-uh. No costume in this movie. The only costume you're going to see is a suit when he goes to take his test.
Tux.
Yeah.
That's what lawyers use, right?
Exactly. So it's just going to be about him taking the bar, failing the bar. He's going to fail 12 times, so that can easily make this movie 4 hours, like Kill Bill style.
Yeah.
They could maybe even do a volume 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a bunch of movies about Matt Murdock, the lawyer. Is Elektra in this? Hell no. Is Karen
honestly,
in this?
Look at that.
Maybe.
You could already tie that into a homeless Spider-Man, right? He could try and help him out, get him off the streets.
Yeah.
That's a lawyerly thing to do, right?
Exactly. So just a lawyer. And my pick for Matt Murdock, I want Scarlett Johansson to play him.
Right. She hasn't been in any of these comic book movies yet. Yeah, and she's good.
She is free time, and she said she can play anything. She can play an animal, play a tree. That sign me up. Rub and tug me into a great movie. ScarJo playing Matt Murdock. Boom.
That sounds like a great movie.
And my title would just be Dare Law Devil.
Dare Law Devil.
Yeah.
That really
really
rolls off the tongue.
Yeah,
you can feel it reverberate around the lips and just slip right out.
DLD. And people might see it and confuse for Dungeons and Dragons, so maybe they're like, what's this movie?
Fucking and nerds playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, they'll be like, I can't watch a lawyer movie, but no, man. And then, of course, directed by Zack Snyder, but that's not going to happen. But
he's directing all these movies, ideally, in the ideal world.
If they're not scared. If you Feige, if you have a real backbone, you'll let Zack Snyder direct a movie.
Speaking of movies, I have another good one here for you.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So we're hot off the tracks of Endgame, which was just a colossal disappointment, of course.
Yeah.
But
what a stinker.
One thing that I think is kind of interesting is now we have Chris Evans Cap. He's an old man. Mm-hmm. He's an old, smelly old guy. His ears are drooping down to the floor.
That's not the only thing dripping down. Also, you know what else is dripping down?
What's that?
Marvel's movies and their reviews.
Yikes! Because we know even if they do get a good review, it's clearly Disney money, right? They just paid them off.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to see. So some of my favorite movies. I'm talking outside of DC because those are clearly my favorite movies because they're the best movies. Like
all 10 out of 10s.
Yeah, just objectively the best movies.
Yeah.
Now some of my other favorite movies are actually the Jackass movies. Have you ever seen any of those? It's just a bunch of...
I love the action in those movies. And I love
it's some of the best acting, right?
When they're drinking gross stuff. It's the best.
Some of the very best acting, too. Whenever... Because we're famous, right? We go to the Oscars.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm talking to like a Hugh Jackman, whenever I'm talking to
Hugh Hefner.
All these guys. And they say, like, what's your favorite movie? I always say Jackass because the acting's so on point. And they're like, that's like reality. Those aren't people acting. But I say, no, that's just how good of an actor they are.
Yeah.
Now, in those movies, they introduce like this like bad grandpa character, just an old man who with his grandson who's screwing around and giving him alcohol and harassing people on the street. And that's what I want to see with Captain America. I want to see an old Cap with a young Cap that maybe made it with Peggy back when he was time traveling around. I just want to see him trolling people on the streets, throwing a shield, just decapitating homeless guys in the street, just
hopefully Marvel's
hitting on waitresses and just giving
a real sleazeball.
Yeah, just a real sleazeball because I think Chris Evans can do it. I think he's a pretty sleazy guy. I've seen some of the reports, and he gets bad ratings on Rate My Teacher.
The dark web, those reports are all over the place.
Yeah, they're all over the place. You can find them even if you don't try. Sometimes I'm just trying to look up a recipe for bagel bites, and then I come across some article on Chris Evans who assaulted another woman
with bagel bites.
With bagel bites, yeah.
And there's this report going around that when he interviewed for Captain America, they said, "You ever been in a comic movie?" He lied. He didn't tell him he was Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four. He straight up lied to Kevin Feige and all them.
Yeah, he lied a lot.
Just a coward in their midst.
It's true, and that's why I think this would be an interesting, different role for his character. And I think it would just be more interesting because we all know the Captain America trilogy is really, really bad. Like the first one is just like, whatever. I don't care about the world wars.
The Nazis,
like they don't matter. They weren't real. It's all a conspiracy.
Yeah.
The Winter Soldier. I don't care. This guy, like, who cares? This guy? He's a metal arm. Oh, that's so interesting.
We got the Man of Steel.
We have the Man of Steel. I don't want an arm of steel.
No.
And then Civil War is just a butchered storyline from the comics.
Yeah,
if you read that, Songbird is supposed to be an integral part of that story, and she's just completely absent. So really, really bad movies. So I think they need to switch it up. And I think that's the perfect way to do it. Bad Grandpa, Captain America.
So talking about switching up, they're going into a new phase 4, phase 2, Infinity, whatever. They're going to subject us to this torture.
Silly names.
It's terrible, terrible, terrible. But I think they're going to be introducing lots of new characters, and one character lots of people have wanted is Namor. He's the rip-off of Aquaman. He's their water one. So it's inevitable we're going to get that because Marvel's just using any IP they can to steal
Captain America was a blatant rip-off of Wonder Woman, as we talked about.
Clearly. So I think they're going to do Namor, but what they need to do is, because if they try to make a water movie, they can't compete with Aquaman. That magic that is Aquaman, that billion-dollar movie, huge movie that should have won Best Film of the Millennia for the Oscars.
Remember, they filmed the entire thing underwater.
Yeah,
crazy.
That's
Cinematography
crazy.
just never been done like this before.
Took years. That's why the next films will come out 2022. It takes so long.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can't compete with that. So my idea is, he's not going to get to any adventures. He's just going to say, I'm done being a superhero. I can't do this. And he's going to be a lifeguard. And you're going to say, oh, does he meet up with some villains? Does he come up? Does he get back in the game? No, it's just his struggles with lifeguard and maybe some like Incredibles rift. He's like trying to hide it, and then midway through the movie, he realizes that he can't hide it, so he just takes a potion and he's just a regular man. And then he regrets it because he's not a good lifeguard. So then what he does is all the other lifeguards, he goes and murders them all and makes himself go to prison because he doesn't want to live that life. But his culture doesn't believe in suicide, so he just subjects himself to a life of prison.
You can see how much you thought about this, how much work you put in, whereas Marvel movies, I'm pretty sure it's just a bunch of rich Disney guys in a boardroom who just throw random shit at the wall and see what sticks. But clearly that is one of the most thought out storylines. Like, there has never been a Marvel movie that goes into such in-depth amount of a character, and you did it in 2 minutes.
So it's just going to be called Namor Drowning in My Own Life, and Namor is going to be played by Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, because she hasn't been in one of these movies yet. Which I feel like we've talked about that, but I can't recall. So
she can play anything.
She's really really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if she could play like a Russian spy type character. I think that's just too. I don't think she has the chops for that.
They have one of those. Yeah, somebody plays
someone with red hair.
So those are my three that they're not going to do them because they're too scared. But those are my three. Yeah.
My third one is quite a bit different. So we've seen a lot of these Disney remakes lately. They've been doing, what do they do? They did Beauty and the Beast. They did
Lion King,
Aladdin, Seven Dwarves. They're remaking all these movies, and they're pretty bad for the most part.
Worst.
But sometimes they really nail it with the CGI. Like, for example, The Beast and Beauty and the Beast. I've never seen such good CGI.
Not bad.
Except for, DC.
Whenever we say that, it's always
of course,
excluding
it's not
DC.
fair to count them in the rankings because they're always just 1 through 100.
They're god
all the
tier.
DC movies. Yeah. So the movie I want to see is Rocket Raccoon, but I want them to take out the cybernetic machine from the back of his neck, and I just want him to be a regular raccoon. Leave him in, like, I'm thinking, like,
can he speak?
No, not anymore.
No? Okay.
I think you just put him in like Vermont or something, and he's just hanging out with other raccoons. They kind of becomes friends with some of the raccoons. And the thing is, raccoons are my favorite animal. I love trash. And raccoons are just barreling around through the garbage and just eating trash and just attacking people with their wretched little fingers. I love that.
We do it on the weekends all the time. It's the funnest thing.
I really sometimes we sit on my patio and we just watch the raccoons fight and feast and all sorts of fun activities in my backyard. So I would love to see a Rocket movie.
Can I pitch a villain for you as well?
Please.
With this trash, it appears that it's a neighbor played by Tommy Wiseau. And the whole movie, Tommy Wiseau, that great actor, Tommy Wiseau, one of the best.
Actor.
He's trying to hunt down Rocket and his friends. I think that'd be pretty good.
Oh, hi, Rocket. Yeah, I could see that. That would be perfect. I think that would be... I think the whole movie could take place in one backyard. I think that'd be like a really... Tarantino sometimes, like a Hateful Eight, for example, he takes a whole movie and just has it in one location, one set. I think they could do that with this movie with just a bunch of raccoons in one backyard. And I think they should train some raccoons to do this so that we don't have to mess with that Disney CGI. Even though they got it with the Beast. But I think that would be one of their best movies because it would be so experimental and it would really fit in with the other movies that they're doing, right? Like, you think about Endgame and it's just like 27 million heroes fighting a bunch of bad guys. Like, it's kind of like the same scale as this movie, really.
100%.
If you think about it. So,
those are some great movies.
I think those could all fit together well. I could see an interconnected a cinematic universe between all those movies.
That's a great phase 4 right there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
down to earth Marvel making some awards. So Feige, you know where to find us. You're always banning us. You're always taking away our review credentials.
Yeah.
Let us know. Let's do a truce, and we can actually make Marvel something good and get you out of the dumps. Because Endgame, just a big downer. And we can transition into that because we talked about Captain Marvel last time. We're talking about movies that came out this year. That was trash.
Yeah.
Not great. So then, since then, we've had after that was Shazam, which was just a joy. It was that sandwich. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, sandwich in between Captain Marvel and Endgame." Poor Shazam. No, poor Captain Marvel and Endgame.
Yeah,
they had to follow and be before that. Shazam is just perfection.
It's that perfect bun, like burger right in between the two buns.
Oh yeah, I saw, and these buns are covered in shit. But
yeah, shit covered buns.
you're talking about Rocket. This is some of the best lightning effects, some of the best villains, some of the best everything. Those 7 deadly sins, they just killed it with the CGI. Such depth of those characters. I know everything about them. Their names are like Gluttony and Sin and all this stuff. It's all cool, really badass dark stuff, and I loved it. I loved it, and the action was great. I think sometimes there was a little too kiddie humor, but it was fine. It was fine. I understand that there might be some kids watching these DC movies, and I thought that at first, but as I started watching it, I just started to laugh and laugh and laugh, and I was like, it made me feel like a kid again. So at first I was nervous. I thought, is there too much kid humor? Is it a bad thing? No, I loved it. I love just the lowest base humor. That line, go for it, because they actually do it well. They make low base humor and do it perfectly, where Marvel just makes low base humor and it's just low. So Shazam, great film. I can't say enough about it.
Yeah. What I have to say about this movie is some of the best acting. Like, child actors have really stepped up in recent times, but I think this is like Oscar-worthy performances. All these characters.
Whole cast.
I love his red suit, that bright red suit. It just gets me torqued. Yeah. Fully torqued. I just love watching him on screen move around. I've seen the movie probably 143 times now, I want to say. You're at around 120, right? You're a little below me. But still, like, it just gets better and better every time. I discover so many details. And I think the thing that I like the most about it is it really reminds me of my own life, because when I was a 10-year-old, I had a rare experimental surgery that actually turned...
It's true.
Yeah, that I could turn myself from a 10-year-old into a 27-year-old. So I skipped a lot of years. I went from being a kid to being an adult, and I would say the transition was flawless. I think I really nailed it in terms of maturity and just my general smartness.
Easily.
I'm really, really smart guy. So I love that happens in this movie too.
Smart.
You really see just a child turn into an adult and what it would be like. And I feel like that is very accurate, because you see how smart he is and how sophisticated he is. And he probably is the smartest man in the world, is Shazam. And I feel like the same could be said about me. So I just identified with this movie on many, many levels. And the first 40 times I saw it, I was bawling, I was crying. Eventually, after that, I could keep it together, but a very, very emotional movie for me. Some of the best acting I've ever seen.
We're great friends with those DC people, so I'm not surprised if that was based on you. You know,
I hope so. I hope so. Zach's busy working on all his movies right now, working on the Snyder Cut. So the thing is, he hasn't really talked to me much lately, but I think he might. Yeah, I think that might be.
I was outside his place last night.
He
didn't answer the door, but I knew he wanted to talk.
Did you do the special knock?
Oh yeah, and I kicked the door down.
You kicked the door.
And then his friends that are cops showed up, but we figured it out.
Those aren't his friends. Those are fake friends.
Yeah, we're his real.
He
friends.
just needs bodyguards, because we all know Feige's trying to take him out after all of his great movies.
After he left Marvel, like, I'm gonna get you back. But
he's actually responsible for the entire first 2 phases. People don't know it because his name's not in the credits, like Kevin Feige, but he is responsible for all of those. He created those characters back in the day. He brought them to life on the big screen. He created all the costumes. He created all the music. People think that's an AC/DC song that plays in Iron Man. That's actually Zack Snyder who wrote that song and sang it, played the guitar, played the drums. He played it all. Guy. He's almost too talented. So he's busy as you can imagine.
Yeah. Couldn't say it better. Oh, and then we got Endgame.
Man.
What a mess.
It's so long.
It's
7 hours long. I looked at the runtime online. 7 hours long.
I can't believe how bad this movie is. It is Razzie Award worthy. Thanos, just the worst villain of all time. They kill Thanos the first 15 minutes. How lame is that? How lame is that you kill such a badass character who could have been badass, but no, he's a weak ass. You got all these.
I don't like his shade of purple. I think he should be like blue or bright red, like Shazam kind of.
Yeah, and then they cop out. They brought everybody out to classic Marvel, so no stakes. Other than Superman, we'd bring no one back. We did that right. Endgame brought trillions of people back. You know what? Just. That may as well just be a slap in all our face. Why do we watch these movies? You know, there's no stakes.
What's the point anymore?
There's nothing.
Look at
and Downey, so predictable. We knew that was going to happen because you know what? Marvel goes for what's the most predictable thing, and they do it, and they do it poorly.
Yeah. And it's not even like Iron Man's important for the MCU, so it's just like an inconsequential death. It really has no effect.
Yeah.
And like even weird and like the new Spider-Man movie, they talk about it a bunch too. It's like, what's the point of that? He doesn't even matter.
It's like if Geek first lost my brother. It would mean nothing. They can just move on.
Like they could, the wind would not change direction at all.
Easy replaceable with a young crackhead.
And it's exactly. You look at a movie like Suicide Squad, right? It was like a ragtag. It had like so many different characters in it.
So much
each one was so well developed, right? You get
Jared Leto's Joker.
Extensive backstory on them. You get good action scenes. You get character moments. You get interactions between every single permutation of characters. You get individual dialogue. Whereas Endgame, I mean, they tried it with Civil War.
Great action.
Big fail. Infinity War, let's throw more characters in. Even worse. And then Endgame's like even more diluted, right? You have so many characters in the movie who don't matter at all. You really have to wonder what's the point anymore. None of the emotional stuff matters because, they all get snapped. But like, no, we all know that doesn't matter. We all know it's not going to stay because Marvel doesn't like to do anything that's risky. They like to play it safe. They're like, oh, look at our big actors we have on the big screen. But
give us your money or we'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what doesn't even matter anymore.
And by that I mean there was reports. Why do you think the box office is so high? Because there's just Feige and all his crew were just running around. If you weren't seeing the movie, they were just literally taking the wallet from people's pants and taking the money. That's
straight
how it's so
pants.
big. Yeah.
It's really messed up. I would say the one thing I really liked about this movie is when Hulk dabbed because I love to dab.
Oh yeah,
it's one of my favorite pastimes.
Sick.
We dabbed a lot in that basement in that Jason.
That's how we worked out.
Yeah, a lot of dabbing. So I really like that because that's really true to the character. If you read any of the Hulk comics, he's always dabbing at least 2 or 3 times per comic.
Hulk
and I like
dab,
that.
Hulk dab.
And I like how we get to like because they're running. It's called Teacher Hulk. What is this storyline called?
Captain
Sensei Hulk.
Captain Hulk.
Yeah, that's the one. Captain Hulk. Like I like that they skipped all the character development to get to that point. Like they just skip right to it. Like you don't need to waste time on character development sometimes with like backstory and
big
dialogue.
What's gonna happen?
Sometimes you just got to skip right to it. Like look at Enchantress in Suicide Squad. Once again, great development in those stories, and like you don't even need that much. All it takes is little snippets, and I think they really took the DC approach with Hulk in that movie, but everyone else was a gargantuan fail, I would say. I don't get to use that word often, so I decided
Plus,
to
Captain Marvel's in it. Captain Marvel and her Brie Larson propaganda against jackets and jeans.
More like, Captain Plot Armor, am I right?
Oh, I know. And then we had Dark Phoenix, another Marvel travesty.
I forgot that came out.
Except I did really like the villain in this movie. I love the villain. I'll say the rest of the movie was trash, but that villain, probably one of the best Marvel villains they've produced out there. Just those debaties, whatever they were called, I don't care enough because the X-Men suck.
I think they did a really good job of Quicksilver in that movie, I would say.
Yeah.
He's been a character that's been super lame and disappointing. In all these movies, you look at him in like Age of Ultron, worst character ever. Look at him in whatever X-Men movies in, even worse than in Avengers. So the fact that they finally gave him the time to shine was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'll say that was a good port.
Yeah, no.
And I would say it was dark, and we like it's not that we love darkness. It's just that darkness is the best way to make film. So
and
when
it was
you
also
have
just dark in the theater because half the screen was cut off by the shadows. And
it's true.
I don't know what was going on, but that happened. So.
Really weird, but it had to happen. So.
Yeah, so that might affect our review. But other than that, not much to say on Dark Phoenix. It's now Feige's going to get his hand on the X-Men.
I would say it's the best X-Men movie, but not by much.
No, it's better than all the MCU movies, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Except for maybe Dark World's quite a good movie.
Yeah. They took some risks with that one.
Super big risks. Dark Elves, Frost Giants.
And then the final movie we had here, Spider-Man, Far From Home, like you said, Far From Good movie. I don't know, man. It's just what a waste. They just treat their fans like idiots and they lie to them.
Yeah,
they did the whole marketing campaign about these elementals and they're not even the villains. Are you kidding me? What a bait and switch. I paid to see those. Will you talk about how much we love water? We saw a fucking water monster.
I couldn't stand that Sandman dies in the first 2 minutes of this movie.
It gets everywhere.
It really does. Every single crack and crevasse.
It's course and the fire monster. All this was great, and then it's just a trick. It's an illusion. How? And what a way just to make Mysterio a lame character. All the stuff he does is an illusion. He was a badass in the beginning of the movie. He's flying around, shooting stuff.
In the comics, he can actually fly. He actually has magical beams that he can shoot out. And he doesn't actually have a human head. He just had like the fishbowl is actually his head. It's like kinetic energy.
Yeah.
So the fact that they changed his whole backstory is insulting to me. Yeah. Insulting, I would say.
Yeah. So that was my biggest thing. Just a bunch of kids in love doing stuff that was boring. Oh,
I will say,
we're so funny making jokes. Oh, look at us, we're Marvel.
I think one thing they did is they brought in this new teacher character who he just says witchcraft a bunch of times. I love witchcraft personally, and I thought that it was really fun because they said like it's really you can look at a DC movie and how to like introduce a joke and then reuse it later and have like the impact just multiply. That really happened here where they used the witchcraft joke probably 5 or 7 times.
It got better.
Every time it got better and better because it was something new every time. It wasn't just the same old thing. But other than that, like once again, Tom Holland, worst Spider-Man by it's not a question of is he's worse. It's by like, how much is he the worst? I would say by at least 12 that he's the worst.
A dozen.
So, at least a baker's dozen or a true dozen, one or the other. What else do I have to say? The CGI was really bad. Once again, they're just shoehorning Iron Man in. Iron Man as if he's like an important character or something.
And that Jonah casting, how lazy. Marvel, should we go and look at another actor? No, that costs money. So let's just get the guy who did it last time.
I want to say this rate.
How lazy.
Just bring Raimi back at this rate, right?
Have him play Jonah, maybe.
Yeah.
Anything. Have
him play Spider-Man, too. I've always wanted to see what he would be like in front of the camera as a Spidey. So
Yeah. Just other than Shazam, we got Joker coming up, but it's been a tough year for us. Just too much Marvel.
And Joker, it doesn't look as dark or... I don't know. I'm excited for it for sure, but they're definitely doing something different with it. So we'll see what it's like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
It seems like they're really going in on the acting, but I don't care about acting so much. I really like action. I like fighting. Yeah. I like punching. I like fart jokes. CGI. I like character deaths. I like introducing villains.
CGI.
Just dry, no backstory. Just drop them in. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one. Yeah, it's pretty. And like he doesn't have the damage tattoo, and that really
that's tough.
That like our show is named after this iconic
the Lord and Savior Jared Leto.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty fucked up that they just don't have that because that's canon to me now. That is Joker is the damage tattoo,
and there's no CGI, and the director says they're not going to follow in the comics. Like, I am a little worried about that. Plus, he said there's no CGI, so I don't know.
I'm kind of worried. The CGI, yeah, I hear you on that.
Well, I'm glad we're back for Comic-Con weekend. We'll try to be back again, but who knows? These geeks, they keep keeping us away. We had to break into my brother's house. Thankfully, he's gone shopping right now, probably for a life. Yeah. But I doubt he could find one cheap enough for him because he's a cheap little prick.
He's very cheap.
Yeah. So, anything to say on this episode?
Oh, it was an honor to be back in front of you fans because we do this. For you, well, actually, we do this for ourselves, honestly. But the fact that you get to enjoy, the fact that you get to experience our greatness is good for you. It's good for you. So I'm happy for you, and I'm just good to be back. Yeah, good to be back with my man.
Better than ever.
Yeah,
best year yet.
Best year yet. Yeah, fucking nerd.
Yeah,
Kirkland Patzer.
Thank you very much for tuning in, geeks. Go and have yourself a whatever fine Comic-Con weekend and a hunka hunka to you and yours.
We love you.